Belal, I hope you're ready, my guy. I hope you're ready. Meh. It's fight week, ladies and gentlemen. UFC 315. Welcome to the DynamiteGizmo podcast, everybody. Episode 249, UFC Countdown Edition, where we discuss everything and all things UFC 315 and related. I will break down fights, give updates and news, fights to look out for, and at the end of the episode, I'll end it off with my fight predictions from bottom to top. Now, let's get into the news. Now, what am I? What's his name? Can't remember. But before we jump into anything UFC 315, I would like y'all to take a look at your screen to my left, your right, not even, right in front of you. Take a look at the screen. Do you see what this is in front of you? This is my own creation. This is what I call a fight prediction sheet. I created this on Photoshop, and I create them for every main number event and some fight nights. You can find this sheet by clicking the link in the description that will take you to the Google Drive folder. You download this sheet, you print a bunch of these off, you invite people over, and you predict fights throughout the night. Let's have a quick look at it, shall we? If you've never seen this before. Again, this is available. Go in the description. I make these free, available for anybody. At least on every main number event, I will have them available. And like I said, some fight nights, they will be available, okay? So it's got the early prelims, and the main card. And as you can see, if let's just zoom into this first fight of the night here. It's got everything that you need to look out for. Well, the majority of everything you would need to look out for when predicting a fight. So even people who don't know shit about the UFC can still have fun and predict fights throughout the nights while using this sheet, okay? It's got the country on the side, the country flag, their rank. It's got their nickname, it's got their fight record, it's got their Vegas betting odds, their names, the weight class, and the order in which the fight is happening, plus pictures of themselves, okay? Now, throughout the night, you just check vote for the fighter you want to win. Whoever wins, you check that off. If it's a draw, you check off this box here. Bada boom, bada bing. Pretty simple, right? This is in the description, but we will talk more about this sheet later on when I do my fight predictions. Now, let's get into UFC 315. A lot of people are saying that this card is going to be boring, and for the most part, well, guess what? That's because it is. Lately, and not even just this year, but lately, over the past few years, some would say that it's been a disappointment. The UFC has been a disappointment. Yeah, we get good cards, but we get a lot of shit cards as well. And I know in the past I've said we need the shit in order to appreciate the good, but I think I'm changing my stance on that. Why do we need the shit? I don't think we need the shit at all. Give us the good. You're capable of giving us the good. And, you know, the best thing we can do in order to make sure that things change in this sport is do exactly what we're witnessing today with 315. Do exactly what we're witnessing today with 315. Take a look at the screen here. This is the seat sales for UFC 315 in Montreal. We are 4 days away from this fight happening, and not even half of the arena has been sold. Not even half of the arena has been sold. Nobody gives a fuck. And I don't even think it's that people give a fuck. It's that they say, why would I spend all this money on these seats in order to watch a shit card? And if we continue to just not buy and not participate in the shit, then maybe the UFC will realize, hey, we need to change. Not even 50% of the arena has sold tickets because of this mid-card. The UFC is trying to build their brand rather than build stars in the sport like they used to. The UFC was the place to be. It was the place to go for fans. If you were a fan of the UFC, you said, look at what amazing glory comes out of this thing. This isn't like boxing. This is better than boxing. Cards used to be always stacked, and that was the goal. But now it seems to be all about increasing ticket prices and lowering the quality of the cards. Squeeze as much out of it as you can just to make money. And as long as people don't buy tickets, they're going to have to make a change. Now, mind you, we will get great cards, and they are worth it. But we'll also get a lot of not-so-great cards. That's, definitely not worth it, and that's what we're experiencing here. So hopefully the lack of ticket sales will open up the UFC's eyes a little more and allow them to adjust accordingly. But we can't stay negative, though. This is the card we got. This is the card we're getting. Belal is the champ. Valentina Shevchenko is the champ. They're going to have to fight at some point. This is the point that they're fighting at. Even though the card is, for the most part, not stacked. Well, it's not the most stacked one that we've seen yet. The real takeaway, there is something we can take away from this event, and that is specifically the result of the main event. The result of this card here, of this main event, is going to shape and determine everything that's going to happen for International Fight Week UFC 317. So that is the silver lining of this shitstorm that we got. So let's go through everything we need to know about for UFC 315. We're going to start by breaking down Belal. Remember the name? Muhammad. Belal, I forgot his name already. Just kidding. Belal Muhammad is 15-3 in the UFC, and overall his record is 24-3. Currently on a 10-fight win streak in the UFC. He is the champion of the welterweight division. He has had 2 performance of the night bonuses, 1 fight of the night bonus. He won the Titan FC welterweight championship. Outside of the UFC, he is undefeated with 11 wins. When it comes to his overall wins, 18 of his wins out of the 24 were by decision. 5 of them were by KO, and 1 was by submission. And he's had 0 knockdowns. So this is why Belal is deemed the most boring champ of all time. Although he is undefeated and rose to the top to get the belt, he's also not entertaining to watch. He's not entertaining to watch. It's mostly decisions that bring him to victory. Not only that, but he's not great on the mic. Nor is he even just exciting to listen to. So he's just kind of like a bland guy and a decision win fighter. Now, mind you, a win is a win. I'm not taking that away from him. He is a dominant force. He does win fights. He goes out there and he does what needs to be done, but he doesn't do it in a superstar fashion. Okay? So I'm not one to complain, but when people say Belal is boring, there is truth to that. And when you look at the facts, it's just the way it is. All right? So it's a little ironic for him to refer to himself as Belal, remember the name Muhammad, when people can't even remember that, the fact that he is the champion, let alone remember his name. Don't get me wrong. Again, I'm not taking anything away from Belal. He is the champ, and rightfully so. He worked his way up to the top. He defeated Leon fair and square. Or did he? For those who don't know, let's take it back a little bit here. For those who don't know, when Belal fought for the title against Leon Edwards, the event was held in Manchester, England on July 27th, 2024. This was also the same event that Tom Aspinall co-mained to defend the interim title against Curtis Blades, by the way. But we're not going to go there right now because we're talking about UFC 315. So because of the fact that it was held in Manchester, Dana or whoever in the UFC decided it was best that the card still run on the regular North American time standard. So that meant that by the time Leon and Belal got their chance to fight, it was 5:30 a.m. in the morning, their time. Now, mind you, this is no excuse. They should have prepared for this, and they did for the most part, I believe. But still, pretty bullshit to make the world title holders, or yeah, because there was Tom on there too, fight at 5:30 in the fucking morning. So even though they did adjust for the time, or at least tried to as best as they could, and they were fighting, or at least Leon was fighting in his home fucking country, still had to fucking fight at 5:30 a.m., the disrespect they showed him, it's still a major struggle adjusting to those time slots regardless. And Leon even said himself he felt off because of this exactly. And many people have said it. Going into this card, the UFC community was on edge about this decision the whole time. And it turns out they had every right to feel this way. Now, I'm not saying things could have went differently if Leon and Belal fought at the proper time. But it is, it's a factor to consider. And we can't even compare these two to the first time they fought. Because the first time they fought, they had to stop the fight due to Belal getting severely poked in the eye. To the point that he was clearly in so much agony. And I do have the video here, but I have no fucking idea where it went. I must have closed it. God damn it, I must have closed it. I should have had that ready. Belal, remember the name Muhammad. Eye poke. We'll find it. We'll find it. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Where is it? Where's the video? Where is it? Where's the video? Where's the video? Come on, baby. Where's the video? Where's the video? Where's the video? Okay, this is bullshit, dude. This is fucking bullshit. Is this it? I think I got it.
I'm gonna kick your ass.
Fight.
We are on the straight shots of Leon.
Why is there music in this fucking cunt? Guys, I swear to God, I had the video ready to go, man. I had the video ready to go.
March 13th.
Shut up! Don't tell me about March 13th. Okay, guys, guess what? I don't think we get to watch the video. It's gone. Guess what? It's gone. Fuck's sakes. I really wanted to watch that, and I know you did too. Doesn't matter. Belal got severely poked in the eye. And he was in so much agony. It was... I would say it is the worst eye poke in the history of UFC. And we've seen a lot of them. They're nonstop lately. Nonstop. But he was on the ground. He was crying. Pleading. Oliver, get that off the couch. He was crying, begging, pleading. Like he was in severe pain. So we never actually got to even see, how the match would have went the first time between Leon and Belal, because it had to be stopped because he got poked in the eye. So who knows? This is Belal's first title defense since he fought Leon the second time and got that title. So maybe this fight against JDM will be a little bit more exciting. Belal did say himself that I got this post ready to go. He did say, I'm not going to shoot one takedown. I'm going to show him the meaning of Canelo hands. Now, who knows if there's any truth to that? I don't know if he's actually going to, stand and bang, as the kids like to say. This has been a common trend nowadays. A lot of people are saying this. I ain't going to shoot one takedown. I'm just going to stand and punch. But usually it never goes that way. Especially when it comes to Belal, I can imagine he's going to go for a takedown at some point against the Mr. J-Man. Or this whole thing might just be a straight-up bluff, Because what's he going to do? Tell him his actual strategy? I don't think so. So let's go on to Jack Della Maddalena. Jack Della Maddalena is 7-0 in the UFC. Overall, he's 17-2. He's ranked number 5 in the welterweight division, currently on a 17-fight win streak. Let me repeat that. Currently on a 17-fight win streak. And did I mention his overall record is 17-2-0? And I said he's on a 17-fight win streak? So what the fuck does that mean? That means he lost his first 2 fights he's ever had in the in MMA. And ever since then, he has not lost a single fight. He's on a 17-fight win streak. He's won 4 Performance of the Night bonuses, 1 Fight of the Night bonus. He is undefeated in the UFC. He won the Reign Fighting Welterweight Championship. He won and defended EMMA Welterweight Championship twice. 12 wins by KO, 2 by submission, 3 by decision. I mean, say what the fuck you want, but Jack is the fucking man, dude. If anyone's going to beat Belal, I'd say Jack has an absolute shot at this shit. Same with Shavkat. But look at what the hell Jack can do. And like I said, he started off his MMA career by losing his first 2 fights. This was back in 2016. And ever since then, he skyrocketed to the top, not losing a single fight right up until this point now. He still has yet to lose a fight. Completely undefeated. Just knockout after knockout after knockout. He's had some submissions, but it's mostly a knockout. This guy knows what's up, dude. And even though 12 of his 17 wins are by KO, he does do well on the ground. There has been a video circling around lately, and you may have seen this, of Jack submitting and choking unconscious BJJ world champion Craig Jones with a Darce choke. Just during training. This wasn't like a fight, it was a training sesh. And I actually have the video here, fortunately, so let's give it a watch. Shall we? Dead. He killed him. He's gone. He killed him. He's dead. Just kidding. Not dead. Why would he die? Not dead. Another factor to consider, he's also from Australia, so that means he has had plenty of opportunities to train with the current featherweight champion, Alexander the Great Volkanovski. So if Jack takes if Jack wins this fight, that means we are going to have 2 champions simultaneously from Australia, which has never happened in the history of UFC. There was a time when it was close. Robert Whittaker did have the middleweight title from July 2017 to October 2019, and then Volk got the featherweight title in December of 2019, but there was no overlap. So Whittaker lost it in October 2019. Volk got it in December. But if JDM gets it now, that means we're going to have Volk and JDM. No shit. So we broke down the 2 fighters. Who do I got to win? Well, obviously, I want Jack to win. We don't want a boring champ. Now, do we? Of course not. Like I said, Belal wins, but he is he's not worth remembering the name. So not only because JDM is the more exciting fighter, but in comparison, I feel like, he might even be the better fighter than Belal. Look at his credentials, dude. But here is something we have to consider. Like I mentioned at the top of the episode, if Jack wins, that means Islam is for sure moving up to welterweight, which means Ilia Topuria will not be fighting Islam for the lightweight title on International Fight Week, which would be very disappointing, because at this point, there is no doubt in my mind that the 317 card has not been announced yet, simply because they are waiting for the result of this card here. Which means we're going to have to settle for Topuria fighting maybe Charles Oliveira for a vacant title or something along those lines. Which, mind you, it would be a good fight, but we are getting shafted too many times this year, and even last year. Fights are constantly being squashed. The fights that we look forward to more than anything keep getting squashed. They get teased. They get dangled. They're right there in front of us. They even get announced, and then they get fucking flushed right out from under us. Over and over and over again. The two biggest fights every fan is looking forward to for this year is Islam and Topuria and Tom versus John. Now, at this point, it would seem as though Tom versus John is probably not going to happen. I'm not completely letting my hopes down. But if Belal wins, that means we are not getting Islam versus Topuria. Now, if Belal wins, we're golden. Topuria already confirmed that he is going to be fighting on 317, but his opponent is not announced yet. And we know that Islam is training. I have a video here. We know he's training. Here's the boy. I mean, he's doing something. He's in camp. He announced he's in camp. Okay. And, Hunter Campbell is in fucking Dagestan, or he was in Dagestan, visiting with Islam and his fucking manager, which I have a picture of that here as well. There he is. The Huntinator with the boys. He's hunting the boys. I showed my notes. Unfucking believable. I'm not supposed to do that. So, and as it sits right now, I'd say most people are predicting that Belal will take the dub. It seems that way, that most people are on Belal's side. Belal himself basically confirming that Islam is waiting for the result. He said this, which I have another fucking thing to show, god damn it. Get your fight signed because I'm not leaving Montreal without the belt, he says. So that's completely implying that Islam is actually waiting. So yes, we can agree that this is a boring card, but even with this boring-ass card, there is a lot at stake in terms of what the result is. So again, who am I going for? It's tough. I don't want Belal to win at all. But if Belal doesn't win, that means we're not going to get the Islam versus Topuria fight. So what the fuck do? I want JDM to win. And so you got to think, okay, even if Belal wins and we don't want him as champ, that means Islam will stay, we'll get the Topuria fight, okay? And I also think that it won't be long until Belal has to fight, let's say, what's his name? Joaquin Buckley. And then we'll get the Buck in there, and the Buck will defeat Belal. Or maybe he won't. I want JDM to win. But I also want to see Islam versus Topuria. So what do we do here? I'm going to go with my heart. I'm going to go with my gut. And I'm going to assume that JDM is going to win, and I'm going to vote for JDM. But if Belal wins, I won't be terribly disappointed. So I'm voting for JDM. Those are my stances. That is my terms. You are my mission. I am your mom. Let's move on to the co-main event of the evening. I got a new Stream Deck, by the way. A nice big one. I just thought I'd announce that, just show people how rich I am.
You little fucking rat.
I want to oil you up.
Thanks,
what the
Dana.
fuck does that mean?
Okay, we're going to break down Valentina Shevchenko. My God. I don't care if you don't think the women fights are exciting, and I certainly didn't for the longest time either. And I still don't, really. But you cannot deny the dominance of this woman. She is so good, dude. Oh, my God. Oh, so fucking good, dude. We're going to run through it, shall we? Valentina Shevchenko is 13-3-1 in the UFC. Her overall record is 24-4-1. She is the champion in the women's flyweight division, currently on a one-fight win streak. Her only losses in the UFC were against Alexa Grasso and Amanda Nunes. She won the flyweight title, the women's flyweight title, in December of 2018. She went on to defend that title 7 times in a row until she met Alexa Grasso, who was also on this card, by the way. She then fought her again. The match ended in a draw, so they went again. And when she fought her again, she won the title back. So back to back to back, 3 times in a row, she fought Alexa. Lost it to Alexa, had a draw against Alexa, then won the title back against Alexa. She has 3 Performance of the Night bonuses. She has had 50 amateur bouts, only losing 1 of those 50. She won the Andaman Coast Cup. She won the WMC Featherweight Championship. She won the WMC Bantamweight Championship. She won the WKC Bantamweight Championship twice. She won the KLF Fight Tournament Championship. She won the KLF Bantamweight Championship. Should I keep going? Well, there's nothing else to do. There's nothing else to say. But, I mean, come on. Her cards are fucking stacked, dude. What are we talking about here? Okay? She holds black belts in both Taekwondo and Judo. And she's a master in both Muay Thai, boxing, and kickboxing. She's just all round one of, if not, maybe considered the greatest female to ever come out of MMA. It just goes to show you how good Nunes is to defeat her twice. Right? And Alexa. Give Alexa some credit, too. She is smoking hot, by the way. I really like Alexa Grasso. It goes without saying. Now, as it sits right now, there's been no news about custom shorts for Belal or Jack. But Valentina, on the other hand, she got herself some custom fucking shorts. And it's not just shorts, she's got the top, too. So why don't we go ahead and check this shit out, because it's fucking good, man. Where's it at? Oh, let me guess. I don't have it saved either. Oh, let me guess. I don't have it saved either. Oh, let me guess. Oh, there it is. But I want to see the video. I had the video saved. Oh, look, Alexa. What does she have to say?
It's for UFC 315 this weekend in Montreal, Canada. The way you can participate is to send me a video outside of Centre Bell Arena saying, "Hi, my name is..." Today is May 7, 8, or 9. Saturday 10, we're gonna send the tickets to the winner. So, come on, send me your video. Good luck.
I'm good. What am I gonna do? Travel to Montreal in the next 4 days? I can't, dude. I don't think I saved the video. Fuck's sakes. But I have the picture here. So these are her shorts. And her sports bra, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Look how nice these are. These are 100% my favorite custom shorts we've seen yet. So it's hard to see here, but there's a tiger on this side. There's a dragon on this side. She's got the bullet in between her tits. Bullet on her thigh, dragon on her butt. Look at the colors and the leaves. It's beautiful, dude. Her nickname's the Bullet. That's what the bullet's for. And all this other stuff represents, I don't fucking know. She said it. But I can't remember, and I'm not going to recite it. I just think those are cool. Those are the coolest, fucking sickest shorts we've ever seen. My lord. Now we're going to break down Manon Fiorot. Fiorot? Let's get ChatGPT up in this bitch. How do you pronounce Manon Fiorot? What does she have to say? The correct pronunciation of Manon Fiorot in French is approximately Manon Fiorot. 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 Is there a video source? Can I listen? Can I listen? Hold on. Right here.
The correct pronunciation of Manon Fiorot in French is approximately Mon Fioroche, with the emphasis on the last syllable of each name. Manon, pronounced Manon, where the N is nasalized, typical of French pronunciation. Fiorot, pronounced Fiorot, with a...
Fiorot. Okay. That was a waste of time. Manon Fiorot. And again, another great matchup here. She is 7-0 in the UFC. Overall, she is 12-1, currently on a 14-fight win streak. What? She is ranked number 2 in the women's flyweight division. She won the UAE Warriors Flyweight Championship. She won the EGC Worldwide Flyweight Championship. She won the IMMAF World Tournament Championship. Has never won by submission, only by KO or decision. Completely undefeated in the UFC with one win over Rose Namajunas. What's going on here? Both the opponents for the main and co-main event are pretty similar in terms of the fact that they're both undefeated in the UFC and have massive undefeated streaks overall. JDM being on a 17-fight win streak and Manon being on a 14-fight win streak. I gotta admit, it's very well-placed matchmaking despite the circumstances. Manon started karate at a young age, eventually moving towards a kickboxing and Muay Thai path, similar to Valentina, which means she's going to try to keep herself standing as a striker. Initially, I had picked Manon for this fight, just being hopeful that she would keep her streak going, but due to the fact that she's going up against Shevchenko, I don't know how she's going to do on the ground if it gets to that point. I'm imagining that it is going to get to that point, and I think because of that, I might have to go for Shevchenko. I think I'm going to go for Shevchenko. I'm going to Shev-Yurchenko. All right, folks, that's the breakdown of the co-main and main event, and now I'm going to move on to something else I decided we should do. I'm going to lift, even though this is what people would consider a boring card, I have some fights that you for sure should look out for on this card Saturday night. If there's there's fights that you can avoid, but if there's fights that you should watch. Excuse me, let's try that again. There's definitely fights that you can avoid because it might be boring, but if there are any fights that you for sure should watch, these are the ones. The one I'm pretty stoked for is Navajo Sterling versus Ivan Urslan. And not for Ivan, but because of Navajo, which is the first prelim of the night. They open up the prelims. Navajo is the guy you want to look out for. Similar to Malcolm Wellmaker that I mentioned in the last episode, Navajo is an up-and-comer new prospect in the UFC. And he's doing very well. I mean, he's only had one debut fight, but currently he is 6-0, so he's completely undefeated. winning his way through the Contender Series and won his debut fight in the UFC. He's looking really good. I like the way he's heading, and I'm liking these up-and-comer guys coming into the UFC undefeated and staying that way. Now, mind you, Peyton Talbot fucked that up for us, but at least we got Malcolm Wellmaker and Navajo Sterling to look out for. This is one that I'm really looking forward to. Now, another one you should watch out for is Benoit Saint Denis versus Kyle Propolek. Now, originally, this was supposed to be Saint Denis versus Yoel Alvarez, which would have been fucking sick. But Yoel had to fucking back out like the little bitch that he is. I'm just kidding, Yoel. You're not a bitch. I don't know what happened. Maybe he got injured, just like every other person in the UFC lately. I don't know. Now, similar to Navajo and Malcolm Wellmaker, Benoit was at one point one of those prospects that everyone had high hopes for. He did lose. Now, mind you, he did lose his debut fight in the UFC, but then went on to win his next 5 fights in a row, winning 2 Performance of the Night bonuses and a Fight of the Night bonus, until he faced Dustin Poirier, which brought him his loss after 5-fight win streak. And immediately after that, he left the UFC and fought in an organization called ADXC. He won that match, then came back to the UFC to fight Renato, however you say it, Moicano, headlining a fight night in his home country of France. And unfortunately, he lost due to an eye injury doctor stoppage. Again, we're getting lots of eye injuries. Lots of them. Where's Trevor Whitman, dude? So even though he is on a 1-fight losing streak as it sits right now, in the UFC only, he is on a 2-fight losing streak. So this is one of those fights that's really going to make or break Benoit. Now, the guy he is fighting is not nearly as dominant as Yoel Alvarez, so I imagine Benoit is going to blow through him like nothing. But Yoel was really the determining factor that would have made or break Benoit Saint Denis. But we don't really get to see that. But at least we still get to see Benoit fight. So there's that. He's a French man in Montreal. Okay, and then another fight that we have, which I guess would be the last fight I have to mention that you should watch out for, is Jose Aldo versus Ayman Zahabi. Okay? Now, it goes without saying, we already know, or you already know, or maybe you don't, but Jose Aldo is a legend in the sport. Like, by far, one of the iconic legends of the UFC. He's getting old now, but he is ranked still in the bantamweight division. He's number 11. And he's going up against Zahabi, who happens to be a Canadian from Montreal. So he's fighting in his home fucking province, which is nice. And I think he's the only one. There are a lot of Canadians on this card, but I think he's the only one that's actually from Montreal. I might be wrong about that. But Zahabi is a younger man who's rising up in the ranks. He's quite hungry to get to the top. So a win over Jose would be an excellent name on the resume, of course. Plus, it would push him ahead to the number 11 spot because I think he's 13 or 15 or somewhere right now. So Zahabi... Oh, this is the other thing. Zahabi is also going to have George St. Pierre in his corner, which will be not only a bonus, but it'll be nice to see George, back in Montreal, back in the UFC. That'll be cool. So this one is really hard to say what's going to happen, but I imagine Zahabi will take the win. Jose Aldo is coming off a loss to Mario Bautista, but prior to that, he was on a 3-fight, 1-draw streak. But 3 of those fights were outside of the UFC, unfortunately. And the 1 draw was to Jeremy Stevens, so we don't even know how that would have went. And before that, Jose lost to Merab on UFC 278 in 2022. So I would have to assume that Jose's career is coming to a close fairly soon, and this is just going to be one of those fights that really pushes him over the edge. And we don't get to see much more good out of this boy. Okay, and then the final thing that we have to talk about, and I've mentioned this before in a previous episode, maybe one or two episodes prior to this one. And also, when I did mention it, it just so happens to be one of my most viewed and commented clips that I've ever put out. And it's about the fact that Joe Rogan is not going to be on this main number event. And again, this is nothing new for Joe. But everyone is making a big deal about it because of what he said on his podcast about Canada. It was a tongue-in-cheek statement that made it look like he's purposely avoiding this card specifically because it's in Canada. But again, that's not the case. You fucking idiots. Stop believing everything that the media pushes. He doesn't do any cards outside of the United States. He hasn't done any cards outside of the United States since 2015. Yes, he doesn't like the state of Canada, the state that Canada's in right now. Yes, he hates the politics of it. But even if he loved Canada, he still would be not doing this card. Holy fuck. Just go look at any UFC cards that have taken place outside of the United States since 2015. Joe has not been on one of them. God damn it, dude. But that's all I'm saying about that. I already went over this, and people still are too stupid to fucking understand. Anyway, but because of this, that means that Joe needs a replacement. Just for this card, not for permanent. Although some of you would probably prefer that because you fucking hate Joe for no reason. And his replacement is Dominick Cruz. That's right, Dominick Cruz. There he is. So, not going to be. Just another reason just to kind of make this card boring. Just throw Dominick Cruz in there. I'm just kidding, kind of. I'm kidding, kind of. Cruz is fine. Dominick Cruz is fine, but it's no Joe Rogan. You can't beat Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan makes the main number events. But at least we still got John Anik in DC, and Dominick will do great. I'm sure of it. I'm not saying he's gonna be bad, but I don't want to be too negative. We got Dominick. That's what we get. That's how it is, baby. At least he knows how to talk on a mic. He's not gonna stumble and fumble and poop and puck. All right. So that's kind of all I have for right now. And we're gonna move on to my fight predictions. Rock and roll Los Angeles, rock and roll Los Angeles. Okay, so beep. Let me see here. Yeah, we're good. All right, so this is my fight prediction sheet, everybody. As I said, if you want this shit, link is in the description. Go to the Google Drive doc and download it, motherfucker. Okay, so the first fight of the night, we got Katona. I need to see if this looks okay. Oh yeah, we're good. We're golden. The first fight of the night is Katona versus Almacan, the Turan Warrior versus Superman. I'm so sick of people using Superman as their nickname. Enough. There's too many Supermans. Okay? So, Brad Katona is 4-4-0 in the UFC. His overall record is 14-4-0, currently on a one-fight losing streak. He is a Canadian on the card. And he is the first fighter in the Ultimate Fighter history to win the competition twice. Pretty interesting, right? He won the Tough 27 featherweight division, and then he won the Tough 31 in the bantamweight division. Pretty good, baby. He has wins over Carlos Vera and Bryce Mitchell in The Ultimate Fighter. He has won and defended once the BCF bantamweight title and has a loss on his record to Marab. This guy's been around the block, and he's opening up the card right away. Okay. And then the guy he's fighting, Al Makan, his UFC record is 0-1-0. So 1 loss, no wins. His overall record is 11-2-0. He's currently on a 1-fight losing streak. Debut fight into the UFC was against Umar Nurmagomedov, so the loss is like pretty valid. You know, they threw him right into the fucking sharks immediately. I don't know why that or how that happened. But before Umar, he was on a 9-fight win streak, so he's no slouch. But they gave him Umar right away into the UFC. So I think just based off of Brad Katona's credentials, that's who I'm going to go for. And the fact that he's Canadian, I need him to represent. Second fight of the night, we have Daniel Santos versus Jong Yong Lee. Okay? The Willy Cat versus the Korean Tiger. Again, the nicknames kind of match up. We got a tiger versus a cat. All right, so Daniel Santos is 2-1-0 in the UFC. Overall, 11-2-0. Currently on a 2-fight win streak. But over the past 5 years, this is important. Over the past 5 years, he has had 7 fights canceled. Okay? For various reasons. Well, kind of all the same reason, actually. March of 2020, it was COVID. Okay, that's a valid enough reason. But then October of 2021, his opponent withdrew. Okay, valid enough. But then, on the same card, when he was supposed to fight a new opponent, then all of a sudden, now Santos can't fight. So first his opponent can't fight, now he can't fight, so he backed out. Then in May of 2023, Santos withdrew again due to injury. Then in November of 2023, Santos withdrew again for whatever reason. Then in October of 2024, Santos withdrew again for whatever fucking reason it was. And, oh, here we go. April of 2025, Santos withdrew again for medical conditions. You thought Khamzat was bad for withdrawing from fights? Look at Daniel Santos, okay? So over the past 5 years, he's only fought 3 times because he constantly withdraws from fights. I'm surprised he's even still on this card at this point. And I wouldn't be surprised if by the time Saturday comes, he won't be fighting. One of those fights was a fight of the night win over John Castaneda. So he's had the fights that he has had it was a fight of the night bonus that he got. Okay. Now we're gonna go on to Zhang Yang Lee. He in the UFC he is 2-1-0. His overall record is 11-2-0. He's on a 1-fight losing streak. Before that was on an 8-fight win streak. Including winning the RFC Featherweight Championship and defending it once. He was originally supposed to fight Gavin Tucker, but Gavin Tucker withdrew. So, listen, Korean Tiger, I wouldn't be surprised if Santos is going to fuck you over too. So because of Santos's, kind of looks like Sneeko. Because of Santos's past, I'm going to go for the Korean Tiger. Okay, next up, we've got Marc-Andre Barriault versus Bruno Silva. Okay, Marc Barriault is a Canadian. And his UFC record is 5-8-0 with 1 no contest. Overall, he is 16-9-0, currently on a 3-fight losing streak. He is a Canadian on the card. He has had 1 fight of the night bonus. His only no contest was due to failing a drug test for Ostarine, whatever that is. Originally won the contest by knockout, but once the drug test result failed, he lost. He won the vacant hybrid combat middleweight belt, won and defended once the TKO middleweight belt, won the TKO light heavyweight belt, almost completely undefeated outside the UFC, but after joining the UFC, now has more losses than wins on his UFC record. Okay, and then Bruna Silva is 4-6-0. Overall, 23-12-0, currently on a 4-fight losing streak. 20 of his wins are by knockout, 3 by decision. He has losses over Chris Weidman, Shara Magomedov, and Alex Pereira. He won the M1 middleweight belt and has had 3 performance of the night bonuses. This one was a tough decision for me, and on my sheet I did pick Bruna Silva. But now I don't know, dude. This is a tough one. I think I'm going to stick with it. I think I'm going to stick with Bruna. Bruno, not Bruna. Okay, and now we're on the prelims. And as I said, I'm excited for Navajo. You already know I'm picking Navajo, but let's just go over what we've got going on here. So Navajo Sterling versus Ivan Erslan. Navajo is 1-0 in the UFC. He's only had 1 fight. Overall, 6-0, completely undefeated. Won the Dana White Contender Series, won the RFN heavyweight title, won and defended once the SMMA heavyweight title, won the Hex vacant light heavyweight title. Okay, so he's had some belts under his motherfucking name, dude. Ivan Erslan in the UFC is 0-1-0. Overall, he's 14-4-0 with 1 no contest. Currently on a 1-fight losing streak. Has had 2 performance of the night bonuses in different organizations. Has had 1 fight of the night performance bonus in a different organization. Only no contest was from failing a drug test. So again, we've got another drug test failure. I don't need to go over anything. I'm going for Navajo, whether you like it or not. Next up, fight number 5. We got Modestas Bukauskas versus Ion Kutlaba. Okay, the Baltic Gladiator versus the Hulk. Again, I've seen multiple Hulks. Time to get rid of them. Bukauskas is 5-4-0, overall 17-6-0, currently on a 2-fight win streak, won the Cage Warriors light heavyweight title twice, defended it once the first time. What does that mean? Joined the UFC in 2020, left in 2022 to go to Cage Warriors, then came back to the UFC in 2023, won the FSC light heavyweight title, and has had a performance of the night bonus. The Hulk's UFC record is 8-9-1, overall 19-10-1, currently on a 2-fight win streak, has been in the UFC since 2016. Before coming into the UFC, he was undefeated with a record of 11 wins, except for 1 Cage Warriors fight against Michael Andrasiak. Lost that fight due to illegal strikes in round 1, and he's also had a fight of the night performance bonus. I am going to go for Bukauskas on this one. Thank you very much. Number 6, next up, we've got Jessica Andrade versus Jasmine Jazudavikius. Jesus Christ. So Jessica is 17-11-0 in the UFC, overall 26-13-0, currently on a 1-fight losing streak. She is ranked number 7 in the UFC women's flyweight division. She has won 6 performance of the night bonuses and 5 fight of the night performance bonuses. When she fought Rose Namajunas for the title and won in 2019, she received both fight of the night and performance of the night bonuses. She has been in the UFC since 2013. She's 33 years old and has been in since 2013, so she's still young. She's been in it for a while now, too. And she looks mean. Jasmine is 7-2-0 in the UFC, overall 13-3-0, currently on a 4-fight win streak, ranked number 9 in the UFC. She is a Canadian on the card. She's had 2 Performance of the Night bonuses, won the FCP strawweight belt, won the BCM flyweight belt, 36 years old, so she's 3 years older than Jessica, but she has only been in the UFC since 2022. Now, as much as I want to go for the Canadian, I'm going to go for Jessica Andrade, however you say it. All right, the feature prelim of the night is Mike Mallet versus Charles Radke. I might change my decision here. I think I'm actually going to. So, Mike Mallet is 4-1-0 in the UFC, overall 11-2-1. Currently on a 1-fight win streak. He is a Canadian on the card. He's had 2 Performance of the Night bonuses. Won the XFFC lightweight title. Aside from his 1 loss to Neil Magny, he was undefeated in the UFC. Better at submissions than Radke. Radke is 3-1-0 in the UFC. Overall, he's 10-4-0. Currently on a 1-fight win streak. He's had 1 Performance of the Night bonus, and he's won the Cage Fury FC welterweight title. Maybe I will stick with Mike Mallet. Let's do it. Let's stick with Mike. Mikey. Oops, you don't want to see that yet. All right, so the first fight on the main card, we got our boy Benoit Saint-Denis versus Kyle Prepolek. Okay, Benoit Saint-Denis, UFC, he's 5-3-0. Overall, he's 13-3-0. Currently on a 1-fight losing streak, ranked number 13 in the lightweight division. He's had 2 Performance of the Night bonuses, 2 Fight of the Night bonuses. Originally was supposed to fight Yoel Alvarez, as we said earlier. He won the stare-down welterweight title, was undefeated outside of the UFC with 8 wins. And then Kyle Propolek is 0-2-0 in the UFC. Overall, he's 18-8-0. Debuted in the UFC in 2019. He's a Canadian on the card. Lost twice in a row. Left UFC and won the Samurai MMA lightweight title. Moved on to 4 different organizations, had a few canceled fights, but won the 3 fights that he did end up getting, putting him on a current 3-fight win streak, re-debuting back into the UFC, which is where we're at now. He won the BTC vacant catchweight title, which is like, what? What does that even mean? How do you win a catchweight title? And then he won the TXC Legends lightweight title. I don't know much about this guy, but he's not doing great in the UFC, so I'm going to go for Benoit also because it's Benoit. Next up, we got Sexy versus Silva. Or should I say Alexa Grasso, who is 8-4-0 in the UFC, overall 16-4-1. She's had 1 Performance of the Night bonus, 1 Fight of the Night bonus, ranked number 1 in the women's flyweight division, currently on a 1-fight losing streak, won the flyweight title against Shevchenko March 2023, had a draw against Shevchenko immediately after in September, then lost the title immediately after in September again of 2024, fought Shevchenko 3 times in a row for all the title shots, has been in the UFC since 2016, was completely undefeated before entering the UFC with 8 wins, before losing to Shevchenko in the 3rd in a row bout. She was on a 6-fight win streak. And then Natalia Silva is 6-0 in the UFC, overall 18-5-1, ranked number 5 in the women's flyweight, currently on a 12-fight win streak, 1 Performance of the Night bonus, 1 Fight of the Night bonus, won and defeated the Jungle Fight flyweight title twice, and she's undefeated in the UFC. I wouldn't be surprised if Silva took it, but I want Grasso to win, only because she's sexy. Next up, we got Jose Aldo versus Ayman Zahibi. Jose Aldo has a huge fucking resume, dude. In the UFC, he's 14-8-0, overall 32-9-0, ranked number 11 in the bantamweight division. He's a legend of the sport, been in the UFC since 2011, 6 Performance of the Night bonuses, 4 Fight of the Night bonuses, currently on a 1-fight losing streak. He's 38 years old. He won and introduced the featherweight title into the UFC from WEC. He defended the title 3 times in a row at WEC. Once it was taken over by the UFC, he then defended another 7 times in a row before losing it to the iconic, legendary 13-second fight against Conor McGregor. He won it back against Frankie Edgar in a vacant match, then immediately lost it to Max Holloway. Outside of the UFC, he only has 1 loss with 19 wins. He left the UFC in 2013 to join Shudo Boxing and Gamebred Boxing, then came back into the UFC in May of 2024. Won against Jonathan Martinez, then lost to Mario Bautista, which is where we're at right now. Zahabi is 6-2-0 in the UFC. Overall, he's 12-2-0. Rank number 14 in the bantamweight division. Currently on a 5-fight win streak. He has 1 Performance of the Night. He is a Canadian on the card, fighting in his home province and city. Outside of the UFC, he is undefeated with 8 wins. Now, on the surface, you would say, oh, Jose's got a better resume, but I think Zahabi's going to take it. Jose's getting old, huge factor, almost the only factor. Next up, we got 100 men versus a gorilla. 100 men. I think that's played out. Okay, co-main event. Shevchenko versus Fiorot. We don't need to go over their credentials because we already did at the beginning of the show. So I'm going to go for Shevchenko for the co-main. And for the main event, I'm going to go for Della Maddalena. I won't be upset if Belal takes it because, as I said, we do want to see Islam versus Topuria. And with that being said, remember you can download this fight prediction sheet. Link is in the description to the Google Drive doc. That is it. I didn't mean to click that. That is it for this episode of the Dynamite Gizmo podcast, UFC Countdown Edition. Hope you enjoyed it. You can go ahead and like, comment, subscribe if you want. There's no obligation to. I'm surprised if you even made it this far. But yeah, I guess that's it. Bye.